Guys, this is Shamaster bringing the video doing with Deku was turned to a vampire part 2. Now, let me set the timer and let's get this started. Now then, where we left off, Deku was in Green's room. Now, let's continue on with that. As Green said, fine. As Deku just walks over to her exactly, extending his arm out. As she immediately bites into it. Now then, as Deku's thinking exactly, how the heck is he going to escape exactly? He needs a map and a weapon at least. As Green just says, you know I'm done, right? As Deku says, that quick? Saying, yeah. As she just walks over to the door exactly, says that, well, you can go now. As Deku just walks out the room. Now then, as Green closes the door, Deku's still thinking a little bit. Now, as he just walks back to the room exactly and goes to sleep. Now then, the next day happens. As Deku wakes up exactly, hearing a knock on his door. As he opens it, he sees a vampire guard. As the vampire guard tells him to put his clothes on exactly and come outside exactly. As Deku does, though. Now, as Deku and this guard start walking outside exactly, Deku sees his friend Bakugo. Bakugo walks up to Deku exactly and asks him, you heard about the news? As Deku says no, what about it? Saying that, well, as before Bakugo's going to say something else, he sees that Deku got, well, a bite mark on his arm. Let me guess, vampire, didn't she? And as Deku said, yeah, remember? Saying, well, it's still funny at least. If we do escape exactly, it's going to be so funny. As Deku says, yeah, it will. Now then, as everybody's there exactly, as they just see the king and queen. Now, as the guard are telling all the livestock to shut up exactly so they can listen, at least, as everyone does. Now, the king says, hell, their livestock. Well, you're gonna be asking me, why the heck did I got all you filthy livestock here? Well, it's simple. I brought you here for one purpose only. You guys are actually going to have a little tournament at least, because all of us are actually bored here exactly. So yeah, it's going to be one livestock versus another exactly. Not to a fight to the death, but it's going to be like an arena style tournament. You follow the arena, you're out. You try to escape, you're going to die. Yes, you can use your quirk exactly. So yeah. You guys better be so glad exactly. And guess what? The winner for their team gets enough food for the entire week, at least. But if you try to escape, try to not battle or forfeit, you will be immediately executed on sight. Do I make myself clear? As everyone says, yes, you do. As the king just walks away now. Now then. As somebody yells out, wait, how long do we have exactly? As the king says, oh yeah, I forgot. You have 2 days to prepare exactly, livestock. So yeah. As the king walks away once more. Now. As Deku says, okay, so we have 2 days exactly to train. As Bakugo says, it doesn't matter anyway. They might not even let us use our quirks at all. They might just lie about that shit anyway. As Deku says, no, they might not be exactly. A, they're just doing that because I pissed off their daughter. B, well, they're just dicks. Or C, they're actually really bored. As Bakugo says, it might be the pissing off her their daughter exactly. As Deku says, yeah, that might be it. Some shit exactly. Now, as Bakugo says that, well, I'll be training you a little bit at least. I'll be training one of these idiots over here with his quirk. Or at least, fighting him at least. Now, as Deku says, I'll be a referee exactly so it won't get out of control. As Bakugo says, fine. Now, as Bakugo and this kid are fighting exactly, they're mostly doing hand-to-hand combat. Seeing who's better at, well, close combat exactly. It seems that Bakugo's way better at close combat than this kid exactly. So yeah, Bakugo did ask about this kid's quirk. His quirk is a long-range quirk. It allows him to create energy beam exactly to fire it from a long-range distance. The beam is not that good from a short range exactly, but it's better from a long range. Mostly like a sniper quirk. So yeah. Now let's continue on. Now, as the kid asks, "Hey Deku, you want to fight me then?" As Deku says, "Fine." As this kid and Deku are fighting exactly, Deku is way better though. He sees how this kid fights, and he actually has a few flaws in his fighting stand. Number 1, Deku can just get him exactly and punch him in the gut one time, he'll fall on the ground, that's it. Number 2, he can just, step on the kid's feet. He already knows this kid's really weak exactly, so he would grab it, and then he can punch him in the face. So yeah. Now, let's do a time skip. The 2 days have passed exactly, as every single livestock at this settlement exactly are being transferred to this weird coliseum. Now, it's like the UA sports field exactly, but not humans there, vampires. And mostly they're being forced to fight exactly or they'll die. So yeah. Now, as Bakugo sees that, there's other settlements there exactly, 2 more. Where he sees a guy with red and white hair, a guy with engine feet, a girl with green long hair exactly, a blonde one, stuff. So yeah. Now, as Bakugo says, "Wait, engine feet?" And he says that, "Wait, is that Tenya Ida?" As Deku says, "Where?" Pointing at that kid over there exactly. As Deku says, "Yeah, that is him, that piece of shit." Now, as Bakugo sees a few more people. A person with, pink skin exactly, and some others. Now, mostly Class 1A and Class 1B is there exactly, so Copy Bitch there, everyone else is there exactly, I can't remember everyone from Class 1B, so yeah. Now, as everyone's wearing these type of uniforms exactly, they're like their UA Sports Festival outfits, but mostly assign a color. For Deku's team is red, for, Settlement 2, Team 2 is white, and Team 3 is blue. So yeah. Now, let's continue on. As, the announcer says, "Hello there, filthy livestock." It's going to be a one-on-one fight exactly. It's going to be, one person from this team and another person from that team fighting. It will not be to the death exactly, but if you do get killed, that's your fault. Not, mine. As he just says that. Now, Bakugo is going to be so glad he gets to use his quirk exactly. He just hopes to get to fight Tenya Ida, or somebody else exactly, or that guy with the red and white hair. Now then, as Bakugo's hearing from this announcer exactly, it's going to be Bakugo Katsuki versus Todoroki. As Bakugo saying finally yes. Now, as they both walk into the arena exactly, Bakugo sees Todoroki. Now, mostly the announcer explains both of their quirks. Todoroki over there has the ice and fire quirk, and Bakugo has the explosion quirk. As Bakugo says, "Great, I have to fight a half and half, bitch." Well, that'd be great. As he yells out to Tenya Ida, "If I get to fight you exactly, I'm going to rip off those engine feet off of you." Now, let's get to Tenya Ida's team. Team 2. With Asui, Ochaku, and Mina. As Mina asks, "Ida, wait, you know him?" As Ida says, "Yeah, I know him exactly because it's a long story." As Bakugo just continues to yell out to Ida exactly, saying that, "You little bitch, you left us exactly. If you didn't run off like a little scary bitch exactly, we might have, survived a little longer, but still. Doesn't matter." As merely the announcer says go. As Todoroki starts freezing the arena, Bakugo starts using his quirk exactly to fly in the air. Going to use his, a technique he made up in his dreams exactly. Technique where he flies up in the air exactly, creates a tornado exactly with explosions, and just punches the guy once in the face. As Todoroki sees that exactly, he makes his ice more deadly. Now, as he creates this giant ice wall exactly, Bakugo sees that. He's now on top of it. It's mostly formed as a cube, so he says, "Great." As he yells out to this icy hot bastard, he can't hide into a cube forever. As he yells out to the announcer, is this even, well, legal at least? As the announcer says yes. There's no time limit on this fight exactly. Whoever dies, dies. Whoever lives, lives. So yeah. Now, as Bakugo immediately breaks the ice exactly, and he's down the cube with Todoroki. Now, he tells this Todoroki fellow to use his art quirk exactly. As Todoroki tells him he's not using his quirk though. His fire quirk is something that he will never use. As Bakugo just immediately charges at him exactly, Todoroki starts creating, well, an ice wall. As Bakugo explodes through that thing and grabs Todoroki by the neck. Now, as immediately Bakugo creates a giant explosion due to his quirk, he breaks the ice cube they were in. Now, a few ice shards do stab into Todoroki and Bakugo, but it does not matter. As Bakugo just grabs him exactly and immediately chucks him out of the arena. Now then, as immediately the announcer says Bakugo Katsuki has won, Todoroki has lost. Now, as everyone from Team 1 is cheering on exactly and really glad that Bakugo won, it's really good. Now, as the announcer says that, well, can we send some medics to get, well, that livestock over there and bring it back to his team? As a few vampire, well, people grab Todoroki. As Bakugo's taken back to the stands where Team 1 is at. Now, the next fight is not Bakugo Katsuki, but Azuka Midoriya versus, well, Azuka Midoriya versus Tenya Ida. As Bakugo says, fuck. As Deku says, wait, why the heck you said that exactly, Bakugo? Saying that, well, I wanted to fight that engine master, but it doesn't matter anyway. He can consume him at least. As Deku says, he might have been a dick to us in the past, but I'm not consuming him. I have some standards of my quirk at least. As Deku is escorted, well, on the tournament grounds. As Tenya Ida is there too. Now, Deku says, well, Tenya Ida, you're gonna get some payback at least. As Deku immediately forms a claw. Not just one, but two. As some vampires are actually surprised, that kid's quirk looks really powerful. As the announcer explains that both of their quirks, mostly Tenya Ida's, called Engine, and Azuka Midoriya's called Virus. So yeah. As Deku immediately charges at Ida exactly, he immediately uses his engines, moving out of the way. As Deku immediately, well, does one thing only. Trying to imagine of a tentacle, or at least something he can grab onto something. As he immediately creates a tentacle out of his claw, he immediately goes to attack Tenya Ida. As Ida immediately dodges that exactly, Deku says, well, that's cool. As he thinks a little bit further. Now, as Ida immediately roundhouse kicks him in the face, Deku's on the ground now. He just says, okay, now you're fucking dead. As Deku immediately forms claws once more, and just immediately stabs him into the ground, says, well, what should I name this exactly? Oh, I got it. Black Spikes. As immediately Black Spikes comes through the arena grounds, creating giant spikes exactly to stab into Tenya Ida's left leg, so he cannot move at all. As Deku immediately walks over to Tenya Ida, and he yells out to his team exactly should I consume him or kill him, or at least keep him alive. As some people yelling out kill him, or people yelling out to consume him, as Deku says it doesn't matter anyway. As Deku was going to stab into Tenya Ida, he immediately felt a sharp pain through his arm. As Deku's claw he was going to stab into Tenya Ida starts, well, fading away. Says that, what the heck? As, well, Ida says, you didn't hear? They won't even allow us to kill each other at all. As Deku says this is some horse shit. And I know what horse shit looks like, at least. I've seen it. Now, as Ida says that, was that, what? As immediately, Deku just socks him in the face. Saying that if I can't consume you, I'll beat the shit out of you then. As he continues to do exactly, as Deku's black spikes do go away over time. As Ida tries to move again, Deku immediately climbs on top of his back and starts trying to strangle him at least, or choke him out. As Ida's trying to force Deku off his back at least, Deku's, well, claws come back at least. And he says, so now they'll allow me to do it, as Deku immediately slices off one of Ida's arms. Ida is now screaming out in pain, as Deku immediately stabs into him exactly and absorbs him completely, absorbing every single part of him, even the arm that was on the ground. Immediately looking at his feet and seeing that he is now Ida's quirk, seeing that, well, that's cool. As Deku puts those engines away, though. Now, as the announcer says that, well, from Team 2, Tenya Ida is dead, consumed by Izuku Midoriya. As Deku now gets all Tenya Ida's memories. Now, he now knows everyone from his team's quirks. He knows Ochaku's, Mina's, Asui's, Mineta. He knows like everyone's quirk there. As well, Deku is escorted back to his, well, team. As Ochaku is a little mad at least, and a little sad. As some of class, well, Team 2, I'm just gonna call them that at least, Team 2 is a little bit more mad. So yeah. Now, as Bakugo high-fives him exactly, says that, so you're not a worthless bitch anymore, aren't you? Saying that, no, I only did it because I just wanted to, okay? And now I actually know everyone's quirk from that team. That girl with the green hair exactly is called Asui. Her quirk's called Frog. Well, she can throw up her stomach exactly for some reason. A little weird. And she has the abilities of a frog at least, but her weakness is ice. Plus overcooking at least, though. So yeah. That girl called Ochaku Araka's quirk called Gravity. And Mineta is called, well, Sticky Balls. He can detach sticky balls exactly when they regrow, but if he uses too many, they can, well, make him bleed. As Bakugo says, so this is some good information at least. Now, as Bakugo says that, well, if you can continue consuming more and more, those, well, that thing on your arm exactly won't be able to control your quirk. Then we might can't escape. As Deku says, yeah. Now, the next battle is Ochaku Araka versus, well, let's see. Ochaku Araka versus, damn. Let's just say it's Ochaku Araka versus Bakugo Katsuki. As Bakugo immediately gets on, well, the torments, as Ochaku does too. Now, as Ochaku is not her normal character from canon, she's way more meaner, exactly. Imagine a female Bakugo that dated, well, or abused Ochaku. It's like that, but way meaner, exactly. As Ochaku just yells at Bakugo and your stupid friend Deku, or Midoriya, or whatever his fucking name is, exactly, you like calling him, he's a fucking monster anyway. As Bakugo just says, you know what, round face? I was just going to punch you once in the face exactly for common courtesy and just knock you out, but I thought, hey, let me just be a piece of shit at least. As the announcer says that Bakugo Katsuki's quirk, Explosion. Ochaku Araka's Gravity. As Billy Ochaku just, well, starts charging at Bakugo. As Bakugo does too, and she actually gets a tap on him. But this time, Ochaku's quirk is way different. She can make people float or increase the gravity on them. As she immediately increases the gravity on Bakugo tenfold. As he cannot move at all. As Ochaku starts laughing a little bit evilly, saying that your quirk is too useless anyway. When one touch of my gravity quirk, you can't move at all. As she continuously increasing the gravity on Bakugo, as Bakugo just says, fuck you. Saying that, you know what? This entire arena is full of my nitroglycerin. Most of my sweat. And guess what? Giant explosions don't help with little girls like you. As he really starts using his quirk, as he did stop a trail of nitroglycerin. As the nitroglycerin explodes, Ochaku Araka falls onto the ground. As Bakugo starts moving once more. Now, as Bakugo starts grabbing, well, Ochaku by her arm exactly, she tries to use her quirk. But this time Bakugo has her arms, well, broken. As he just grabs her by the broken arm and immediately chucks her off the arena, telling her that she can't go anywhere with that useless quirk anyway. In fact, if we see each other again outside of these walls, trust me, I'll kick your ass again. As he tells Team 2 if they try to fight me or my friend exactly, you guys are going to be consumed or being beaten up enough, so you will die, at least. So you guys better do a swift, painful death and just kill yourself already. as he is escorted back to Team 1 and Chakuraka is getting medical help. So yeah. Now then, as Deku high-fives Bakugo, as well, they're seeing the next fight. It is, well, Asui versus Mineta. As, Mineta is saying, wait, we have to fight each other on our exact same team? As Asui's actually glad. She is sick of this fucking perverted bastard, and she wants to just kill him already. As they are escorted on the arena, as they explain their quirks, frog and sticky balls. As some people in the audience do laugh at least, because the quirk sounds a little perverted and hilarious. I can't blame them. As immediately Mineta yells out, why the heck you guys are laughing at my quirk anyway? As, Asui just immediately, gets her tongue and immediately has it on his chest. As immediately Mineta makes a perverted joke, as Asui just says, fuck you, immediately tossing him into the air with her tongue. As, Mineta's too up in the air exactly, so you will not survive. As Mineta starts throwing sticky balls on the ground exactly, trying to make at least a trampoline. As he actually does. Barely. As Mineta just immediately gets off the sticky balls, he just says, Ha Asui, you can do crapping with your quirk. As Asui immediately jumps in the air exactly, getting her tongue and, doing the exact same thing, but this time getting out of the arena. This time, she actually, did something right. As immediately Mineta falls on the ground exactly, he has a broken arm and leg. And this time, Mineta has died. Nobody actually liked him from his cellmate, so they did not help him at all. So yeah. As Asui just tells Team 1, if I get to fight one of you guys, I'm going to kick your ass like that perverted freak. As she is escorted back to her team, Mineta is, incinerated. That means burned alive. So yeah. Now, the next fight is Bakugo Katsuki versus, not Bakugo Katsuki, but Izuku Midoriya versus the twins. Or triplets. Saying triplets. As Deku's in the arena exactly, as he sees these 3 kids. Saying that, why the fuck do I have to fight 3? As they explain their quirk. My quirk is energy manipulation. I create energy bolts, though. My brother over there has a flying quirk, and my brother over there has a fusion quirk. What happens when you fuse those 3? As Deku's thinking exactly. As immediately they put up their arms, by their fusion brother. As they fuse together exactly to create their fusion form. It has energy manipulation and, energy manipulation and fusion are crap, exactly. So yeah. As they say go. As Deku and this kid are fighting at least. As they say, oh yeah, I forgot. We need to explain our last quirk, our secret quirk, when we're all fused together. It's called Kaioken. It increases our strength tenfold, for each multiplier at least. As he just says Kaioken times 2, he immediately surrounded by red aura, saying that, wait, what? As he just says, Kaio, what? As immediately Deku just gets punched in the face at least. Deku immediately spits out his tooth and says, great. Immediately feared knowing if his tooth is going to regenerate, he feels it is, saying that, great. That's at least a few biomass here and there. As Deku says, your quirk will be really useful when I absorb you. As they say, yeah, right. Our Kaioken form is invincible. It increased our speed and strength tenfold, remember? So yeah. As Deku says that every single quirk has a weakness. Every single one. My friend's quirk Baku over there, his quirk is, not explosions. He needs sweat. If he doesn't sweat, his explosions don't work. My quirk's called virus. I need biomass to use my quirk. If I exort something with flesh like you, I can gain your quirk immediately. As immediately forms Ida's, engines on his feet, charging at them with his quirk. Immediately using his roundhouse kick like Ida does, but this time the kids grab his leg. Immediately saying that that's not going to work on us exactly. As Deku says, oh, it's not. As immediately Deku forms a claw, stabbing to one of the kids' arms. As the kids immediately rip off their arm, backing away from this kid. Deku immediately absorbs it, but he does not get his full quirk. He does get a sliver of the power. And he says, huh, that was tasty at least. Now then. As he immediately charges at these kids once more, they now know to not touch him out, because they'll just stab it into our arm and make us useless at least. But this time, Deku actually knows a little bit of information about the quirk and the weakness of it. The Kaioken cannot survive so long, though. It does take a lot of stamina out of them to continuously multiply. As the kids say, fine, we're ending this already. As he immediately says Kaioken assault. Immediately they're in Kaioken times 20. Their bodies cannot handle it, but they know they're going to die from this exactly. As they just say one thing to this kid. This Kaioken assault will kill both of us at least. Will obliterate you to dust and will die by, well, stamina at least. Immediately charging at Deku, immediately punching in the air. Flying up in the air exactly, well, doing a Kamehameha. As they just say, this is for our team exactly. We would rather die than, well, get absorbed. As immediately they obliterate Deku completely. But there's only one problem. Deku actually had a continuous plan. He has an arm left on the arena. As they were going to say Izuku Midoriya dead, as the king says no, he's not dead yet. Seeing the arm moving around. As these guys say, wait, what? As immediately Deku's arm starts regenerating from him. As immediately the kids say, crap, we need to end this now. As they're out of breath and out of willpower. As they say, great. As they're breathing heavily though, Deku completely regenerates back. As Deku yells at them, that took a lot of biomass out of me at least to regenerate. But it's worth it. Now, your quirk will be really good exactly when I fight these dumbass vampires at least, if I get to fight one of them. Now, immediately, Deku charges at what the fusion releases, stabbing into their gut, absorbing them completely. Getting their flight quirk, Kaioken, energy manipulation, and fusion quirk. So he now has 4 quirks in him. So he's a total of 5. So yeah. As Deku's, well, appearance looks a little weirder at least. His hair color changes to black, then back to green. Saying, huh. Well then great. As immediately the announcer says the triplets have been absorbed by Izuku Midoriya. So yeah. Now, as Deku's taken back to Team 1, the next fight is going to be Asui versus Ochaku Araka. As well, Asui and Ochaku are now on the stadium. Or the arena. Sorry. Now. As they're there, they immediately say go. As Asui immediately uses their tongue to grab onto, well, Ochaku. But Ochaku uses her quirk on the tongue exactly to make it 50 times Earth gravity. So Asui cannot move at all. As the announcer says that, well, the only way you can win this fight, Ochaku, is to send your friend Asui out of the arena, or to kill her. As Ochaku just says fine, grabbing Asui's tongue and trying to yank her across the arena. As she actually does, she's close to the arena, as she immediately deactivates her quirk and just, well, Asui can feel that. As she immediately just uses her tongue to push Ochaku Araka off of the stage. Immediately Ochaku Araka is out of, well, bounds, so she's out. Now, as immediately the announcer says that, well, that was a tourney event, Asui wins, Ochaku Araka loses. Now then, the next fight is going to be, well, let's see. They just like calling him Copy Bitch, so they're not saying his real name. Copy Bitch versus Izuku Midoriya. Now, as Deku just, well, is now in the tournament arena, as Copy Guy just says, great. I get to fight the guy who absorbs some of my friends. Well, that's fucking swell. Saying that, let me guess, your quirk's called Copy, isn't it? Saying yes. My name is, well, as immediately the announcer says, his name is Copy Bitch. As immediately the guy just yells out, my name's not Copy Bitch, as immediately says go. Immediately Copy Bitch uses his quirk. Immediately, well, using one of his teammates' quirk. Asui's quirk, Frog. Immediately extending his tongue out as Deku immediately grabs it. Saying that you think this useless quirk is going to work, right? As he just says no. Immediately changes his quirk to Fire, like Todoroki's. Using his Fire quirk. Now, he immediately tries to use the ice-based quirk, but Todoroki did tell him about using 2 quirks at once. it can do some devastating abilities to your body, as he does not use it. Now, as Deku says, Hans, you use the Icy Hot Bastard's quirk. Well, that's great, as Deku immediately forms some armor at least, across his arm, not across his body at least. Now, as Deku says that, well then, this is going to be really easy to fight you. As immediately Deku starts, creating a shield, blocking all the fire-based attacks as the, cop bitch switches fire to ice, and continuously doing that every single few minutes or so. As Deku immediately gets close to him more exactly, he stabs into him at least. But this time, Ayama, or Cop Bitch, I think that's what his name, I'm just going to continue to call him Cop Bitch. Cop Bitch immediately uses his last quirk, Explosion, blowing himself up, immediately killing him in the process, but this does hurt Deku a little bit. As Deku sees that, great, this idiot blew off my arm. As Deku walks over to his, body, he starts consuming it at least, gaining more biomass. Now, as Deku starts forming a little bit more armor on his body, he seems like he can form a chest plate and some, arms of armor. That's at least good. Now then, I think this is a good spot enough here. This has been Showmaster, I hope you guys do like this video. It was an interesting matchup against all these people, and it will continue on. So yeah. And please guys, tell me anyone else that I did not kill off yet. So yeah. Now, goodbye.